House of Representatives, which is the lower house of the federal parliament, where crucial laws are pending for discussions and endorsements, has been obstructed for over 2 weeks now. Main opposition CPN-UML has continued with its demands for the formation of a separate high-level committee to investigate the recent 1 quintal gold smuggling, while ruling parties argue that the state mechanism is already looking into the case. This stalemate at the legislative has sadly once again overshadowed pressing issues of public concern. Good morning, I'm Chitrakar, and these are the headlines of the hour. More than 1,000 houses inundated due to incessant rainfall in Kailali. Those displaced relocated at a local school. Authority urges everyone to remain vigilant amid continuous rainfall. Climate change affects temperature and rainfall patterns. Some parts report excessive rain while others witness drought, increasing risk of disturbance in agriculture pattern. Pakistani President Alvi dissolves the parliament at midnight as Prime Minister Sharif makes way for a caretaker government. And Cristiano Ronaldo guides Al Nassr to a 1-0 win over Iraqi Al Shota. Ronaldo playing for a title from a Saudi Arabian club for the first time. More than 1,000 houses in Kailali have been inundated amid incessant rainfall. More than 1,000 households have been completely displaced after Bhajani municipality and Kailari rural municipality in the southern part of the district was inundated due to incessant rainfall. Some have built temporary shelters in the postal highway after their houses were inundated, while others have relocated at a school. A team of Nepal police and Nepal Army have rescued people on a boat and have moved them to safer locations. The water levels in Kara, Mohana and Kanari, among other rivers, has risen due to continuous rain. The local administration has urged everyone to move to safer locations amid possible risk due to continuous rainfall. Meanwhile, vehicular movement has remained obstructed in Bhimdatta Highway due to the landslide that occurred on Monday. Janata Samajwadi Party of the ruling alliance has expressed reservations against the 5-point agreement between the government and the Gaur Massacre Victims Struggle Committee. At the meeting of the ruling alliance held in Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar, Janata Samajwadi Chair Upendra Yadav had expressed the party's reservations against the agreement. Yadav was of the opinion that the government had fueled the attempts to revive a 17-year-old incident, warning that the government, in fact the development, had invited a situation to reconsider the party's support to the government. At the meeting, Yadav also called on Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal and Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba to publish their clear opinion on the Gaur massacre. Following the meeting, Yadav held a party meeting at the party's office in Lalitpur. He had poured frustration upon the Prime Minister's failure to consult with him and his party before striking the agreement with the Gaur massacre victims. 27 people had died when the cadres of the then CPN Mao Center and Madeshi Rights Forum clashed in the Gaur of Rautahat 17 years ago. The incident had also left 115 people injured. Based on a report by the National Human Rights Commission, violent clashes erupted after party programs of the two sides had coincided at the same venue. 2 probe commissions were formed by the government to investigate in the Gaur massacre, and Mao Center too had formed an internal committee. However, none of them published their report. The victims and their families had been demanding for justice, saying that the perpetrators behind the clash had not been booked. A 5-point agreement was struck between the government and the Gaur Massacre Victims Struggle Committee after the victims met with the Prime Minister and Home Minister on Tuesday. Based on the agreement, an investigation into the incident and complaints filed during the massacre would be carried out and the guilty would be booked. Janata Samajwadi Chair Yadav has also been alleged of involvement in the incident. The country has received less rainfall this monsoon season compared to the previous years. Due to this, only 50% of cultivation has been done in the Tarai region so far. Meanwhile, hilly and mountainous region in the eastern and western parts have received excessive rainfall. According to experts, change in temperature and a rainfall pattern is being witnessed as a result of climate change. According to the Weather Forecasting Division, Janakpur, Birganj and Jaleshwar districts of Madhya Pradesh received 70% less rainfall during monsoon season this year. Jaleshwar reported 10.1 millimeters of rainfall in the month of June, which is 16.9% of the total rainfall received during the previous years. Agriculture has been affected in Madhya amid lack of rainfall. Farmers have been compelled to use fire brigades to irrigate their farms amid drought. A similar situation has been reported in western districts of Thangadi, Surkhet and Nepalganj. Meanwhile, Bandipur, Gaur, Hetauda and Diktel, among other places, have received excessive rainfall. The rise in global temperatures have been attributed to rise in emission of greenhouse gas due to increasing industrialization, deforestation, unmanaged urbanization and excessive use of fossil fuels, among other human activities. The government had approved climate change policy in the Nepalese year 2067. However, its implementation has remained feeble. The Council of Ministers has approved the amended master plan of Singa Darbar. The meeting of the Council of Ministers held yesterday approved the amended master plan of Singa Darbar presented by Finance and Infrastructure Committee. The Council of Ministers has given approval to the Nepal Rashtra Bank to produce a batch of 150 million coins of 5 rupees. Furthermore, the meeting has approved Vice President Ram Sahaya Yadav's China visit from 16th to 20th of this month. Vice President Yadav is scheduled to attend the 7th China South Asia Exposition and 27th China Import and Export Fair in China's Kunming. The meeting has also approved quotas for 715 temporary officers for the Prime Minister Employment Program. The government has begun raising internal loans amid failure to manage its expenses as it has failed to meet its target revenue. Last year, the government had started taking internal loan from the Nepalese month of Mangsir. However, the internal loan collection has already begun from the beginning of the ongoing fiscal year. The government aims at collecting 240 billion rupees of internal loan within this fiscal year, with 55 billion to be collected within the first quarter. 4 billion has already been raised. The government revenue is currently higher than expenses by just around 33 billion rupees. The government has decided to take 10 billion rupees internal loan to pay the amount to contractors and to pay salaries and allowances to government teachers and employees. Government officials say that the decision has been made to take the loan now considering the rising inflation. The government last year had collected development loan from the market by paying interest of up to 11%. This time it has taken loan at an interest of 6%. 64 billion rupees went on interest alone and 150 billion rupees in loan installment. This time around 93 billion on interest and 182 billion on installments have been estimated. 16 billion rupees in service charges have already been cleared. Meanwhile, experts reiterate the need to cut down on expenses. 330 billion of the 452 billion rupees in total loans will be spent on salaries and other payments. 4 people have been arrested in Mahottari's Jaleshwar over allegation of keeping hostage a 13-year-old minor for over a month and raping her. The minor girl from Jaleshwar 9 went missing on 21st of June. Her family reported of her unknown whereabouts to the police. However, the police failed to act on it. The families filed the complaint once again a day later, which kicked off the investigation. Sister duo Bhulo Khatun and Sabina Khatun of the same municipality were arrested. Last Saturday, the victim made a call to her relative from the perpetrator's mobile phone, which helped police further the search. A joint team of Thanusha and Mahottari police on 5th of August rescued the victim from Janakpur's Ramananda choke based on the information shared by her family. The police also arrested 26-year-old Riaz Dafali of Jaleshwar 1 and 25-year-old Bechani Mandal of Mithila 6. The victim is under police protection at the moment and medical tests are being carried out. So far, the victim has said she had been kidnapped, drugged and raped countless number of times. The women's cell in Mahottari's district police office has received 62 cases of violence against women in the past 1 month. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked people in several provinces what should be done to protect indigenous communities. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
भाषा संस्कृति लिपि हैन हाम्रो पहिचानलाई चाहिँ राष्ट्रले देशले हैन चिन्न सकोस्
शिक्षामा रोजगारमा व्यवसायमा जम्मैमा अवसर दिनु पर्यो
राज्यले गरेका विभिन्न सन्धि महासन्धिमा जुन हस्ताक्षर गरेको छ त्यो अनुसार कार्यान्वयन हुनुपर्छ
परम्परागत सिपहरू त्योमा राज्यको ध्यान जानुपर्छ
आदिवासी जनजातिको भागमा छुट्टाएको बजेटहरू हाम्रो अलिकति भए पनि सुनिश्चित गरेर राखिदिएको भएर हामीले सहजै उपलब्ध गर्न पाएको भए एकदमै राम्रो हुने थियो
आदिवासी जनजातिका भाषा कला संस्कृति संरक्षण गर्नको लागि महत्त्वपूर्ण भूमिका भनेको बजेटका निकाय र विभिन्न तह र तबकामा चाहिँ स्थान दिनुपर्छ
फलनाले चाहिँ यसो लगेको रुडीबारी लगेको ठाउँमा केही न केही बसिबाद दिनु पर्यो नि
आदिवासी जनजाति शिक्षित भयो भने मात्रै सबै कुराको विकास हुन्छ
आदिवासी जनजातिहरुमा पनि विभिन्न खालका हुनरहरू छन् उनीहरुलाई अवसर मात्रै दिनुपर्छ
उनीहरु आफै अगाडि बढेर उत्थान गर्न सक्दैन यसलाई चाहिँ राज्यले नै के गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ राज्यले नै पहल गर्नुपर्छ
सबै आदिवासीहरुलाई चाहिँ तपाईलाई हामीले जागरुक बनाउनु पर्ने अवस्था छ
एकले अर्काको भाषा धर्म संस्कृतिलाई सम्मान गर्दै एकले अर्कालाई अगाडि बढाउनु पर्यो
जागरण हुनु पर्यो हामी एकजुट हुन पर्यो
संस्कृति धर्म संस्कारको चाहिँ संरक्षण गर्यो भने
चलन चल्दी आफ्नो छोराछोरीले सिकाउने
सम्पूर्ण आदिवासी जनजातिहरु एकजुट हुनुपर्छ
आरक्षण कोटा जुन छ त्यो सुनिश्चित गर्नुपर्छ
आफ्नो भाषा वेशभूषा संस्कार संस्कृतिलाई जगेर्ना गर्नुपर्दछ
हेप छ चीज छ पेय छ त्यस्तो गतिविधि यो देशमा नहोस्
हामी सबैजना एकजुट भएर एकअर्कालाई भेदभाव गर्नु हुँदैन
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: what do you think of government officials leaving works to stage protest? The options are A, compelled to do so, B, no sense of responsibility, and C, dominance of politics. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. Pakistan's parliament has been formally dissolved, but polls meant to be held within 90 days will likely be delayed. The Electoral Commission says electoral boundaries must be redrawn to reflect fresh census data, a months-long process. With President Arif Alvi's order yesterday to dissolve the National Assembly, a caretaker government will take charge. Outgoing Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and his government have been given 3 days to name an interim leader. Sharif, who warned that the country cannot progress without national unity, also told reporters recently that polls may not be held this year. Some feel the election is being delayed as the ruling Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz coalition isn't confident about winning at the polls due to former Prime Minister Imran Khan's enduring popularity as well as the effects of runaway inflation despite a bailout from the International Monetary Fund. Last week, Khan was arrested and jailed and then barred from politics for 5 years. He had openly challenged the powerful military establishment and claimed it was petrified of elections. Despite their once close relationship, Khan has rattled the military like no other politician before him. Senior analyst Rasul Bakshish Rais even reckoned that the former cricket star's detention will increase his popularity. A candidate in Ecuador's forthcoming presidential election has been shot dead at a campaign rally. Fernando Villavicencio, a member of the country's National Assembly, was attacked as he left the event in the northern city of Quito yesterday. A member of his campaign team said Villavicencio was getting into a car when a man stepped forward and shot him in the head. Current President Guillermo Lasso confirmed the death on social media. Witnesses said 59-year-old Villavicencio was shot 3 times and that the gunman was able to flee the scene. The first round of the presidential election is scheduled to take place on 20th August. A recent rise in violent crime, fueled by the growing presence of drug cartels in Ecuador, has been a central issue in this year's presidential campaign. Niger's military junta met with 2 Nigerian envoys yesterday, offering hope for dialogue before a summit with regional leaders that could result in military action to restore democracy. The talks took place as Niger accused France of violating its airspace, attacking a military camp and freeing terrorists to undermine the country. Paris denied the charges. Army officer Amadou Abderrahmane, speaking for the coup leaders, made the allegations in a video statement without providing evidence, stoking tension ahead of Thursday's meeting of West African heads of state who are expected to discuss options, including military action against the junta. Wildfires fanned by the winds of a distant hurricane killed at least 6 people and caused extensive damage on Hawaii's Maui Island yesterday, forcing some people to jump into the ocean to escape the smoke and flames. The western side of the island, including the tourist resort of Lahaina, was nearly cut off, with only one highway still open, as officials told of widespread devastation that was still too early to quantify. Videos shot on Tuesday showed the wildfire and strong winds pass through the tourist town. The situation in Hawaii mirrored scenes of devastation elsewhere in the world this summer, as wildfires caused by record-setting heat forced the evacuation of tens of thousands of people in Greece, Spain, Portugal, and other parts of Europe. Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. More than 1,000 houses inundated due to incessant rainfall in Kailali. Those displaced relocated at a local school. Authority urges everyone to remain vigilant amid continuous rainfall. Climate change affects temperature and rainfall patterns. Some parts report excessive rain while others witness drought, increasing risk of disturbance in agriculture pattern. Pakistani President Alvi dissolves the parliament at midnight as Prime Minister Sharif makes way for a caretaker government. And Cristiano Ronaldo guides Al Nassr to a 1-0 win over Iraqi Al Shorta. Ronaldo playing for the title from a Saudi Arabian club for the first time. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.